Hey everyone! Today we're going to dive into a really moving poem by Kamala Das called My Mother at 66. Now, it's a pretty short poem, but wow, it packs an incredible emotional punch about love, getting older, and that fear of saying goodbye. Feelings I think we can all connect with, right?
So, before we really get into the lines of the poem, let me ask you something that kind of gets to the heart of it all. Just take a second and think, what do our parents actually want from us? It's this complicated mix of love and time and what we owe each other that we're about to explore.
All right, let's get started. To really appreciate just how deep this poem goes, we've got to start with the poet herself, the person who so beautifully captures these really raw human emotions.
So, Kamala Das, she was this incredible writer from Kerala, and she was famous for just being fearless. She wasn't afraid to explore really sensitive topics, especially the messy, complicated parts of human relationships. She never shied away from the raw, unspoken feelings that connect us. And that honesty is exactly what makes her the perfect person to take us on this emotional journey in My Mother at 66.
So, the poem kicks off in a setting that seems deceptively simple, just an ordinary car ride. But, as we're about to see, it's in these everyday, quiet moments that life's most profound and, well, unsettling realizations can hit you like a ton of bricks. So just picture it. The poet is driving from her parents' house to the airport in Cochin. It's a totally normal, everyday scene. A daughter giving her mother a lift. But it's in these quiet, ordinary moments that the biggest truths often have a way of bubbling to the surface. And then, bam, it happens. The poet just glances over at her mother, who's dozing off, and she's hit by what she sees. The words she uses here, ashen like that of a corpse, they're meant to be jarring, right? They're shocking. It's that sudden, cold, gut punch of a realization that her mother is mortal, sitting right there beside her. In that one single moment, this whole storm of emotions just washes over her. And it's not just fear, it's this deep love, a wave of sympathy for her mom's frailty, and that sharp, undeniable pain of knowing that time is running out. Some psychologists actually call this anticipatory grief, that ache you feel for a loss that hasn't even happened yet. That thought is just so painful, so completely overwhelming, that her first instinct is just to look away, to escape it. So she turns her gaze from her mother, and what she sees at the window creates this sudden, really powerful contrast. So she looks out the window, and what does she see? Life, in full, vibrant motion. The young trees sprinting, that is such a clever way to put it. It's an illusion, of course, from the moving car, but it's a powerful image of pure energy. And that's paired with the merry children spilling out of their homes, a perfect picture of that chaotic, youthful joy. And this right here is where the poem's central contrast just snaps into focus. Inside the car, you've got this quiet, still reality of aging and decay. But right outside the window, the world is literally bursting with youthful energy and life. And putting those two things side by side just makes the poet's painful thought about her mother feel even sharper, even more real. But that glimpse of life outside, it's really just a temporary distraction. You can't run from a feeling like that. When they get to the airport, those difficult emotions come rushing right back. And this time, they feel even stronger. So they've made it to the airport, they've gone through security, and now there's a real physical distance separating them. And that new space, it just magnifies her internal fear of a much more permanent final separation. She looks at her mother one last time and sees a face that is wan, pale. And right here, Das uses probably the most powerful and beautiful simile in the entire poem to describe her, as a late winter's moon. So what does that really mean, a late winter's moon? Well, think about it. A moon in late winter is often kind of hazy, obscured by fog and mist. It doesn't have that sharp brightness and vitality. It's a brilliant way to show us how the poet sees her mother, her life force, her vibrancy, all of it dimmed and faded by age. And seeing her mother like this triggers something deep inside her, what she calls that old familiar ache. It's that primal fear that pretty much every child has of losing a parent. It's a fear she probably thought she'd outgrown, but in this one moment, it is back, and it's just as real and terrifying as ever. But even with all this crushing fear and sadness swirling inside her, what she does next? Well, that's what makes his poem so heartbreakingly human. So think about what she chooses to show her mother in this final moment of saying goodbye. Her words, they sound so hopeful and positive. See you soon, Ama. And her actions seem so simple, so reassuring. All she did was smile and smile and smile. But we, as the readers, we know the truth behind that smile, don't we? It's a mask. It's a shield. It's this brave, almost desperate attempt to hide her own heartbreak, to reassure her mother, and maybe to reassure herself too. It's to make sure their last memory together isn't one of fear. It's a performance of pure, selfless love. And that's the final image the poem leaves us with, a simple smile hiding a universe of pain. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? How often do we do that exact same thing? Use a smile to shield the people we love the most from our own deepest, darkest fears.